Hi guys, welcome to session 30 of Java Full Stack Made Easy. As promised in the last session, in this session we will be discussing about the real-time use of collection of a collection, right? So if you remember, I told you in the last session itself that we will be talking about a concept of collection, right? So last session we were discussing about the maps, if you remember that, and I created a one demo based on the book. I created this library, book, and the library service. So these are the three classes that I created: a book, then the library, and the library service. So library contained a map of books, which basically means that we were storing the books inside a library. Now what I want the collection of libraries. So if you remember in the last session, I created one single library. That was, let's see, the name of the library that I gave. I guess I gave it like MG library or something, right? Library search book 16. So here is the library, MG library, which I gave, right? So from this library, these are the books that are created. Now what I want is, I want a collection holding the library name and the books available into the library. Fine. So I have an object first which contains the books inside the library. So my library contains a map containing books inside that. Fine. So book and book titles. So based on the ISBN, I was able to search the book. Now what I want is, I want a collection of libraries which should actually contain all the books available into the library. Fine. So what I'm searching for is, in previous case I was searching for the book based on the ISBN. Here I want to search for books based on the library name. So let's go ahead and understand how can we do that. Okay, so our requirement is, we will be having multiple libraries. So in this previous example, I have already created one library, the MG library, and within that MG library I added the books, right? So these three books I added into the library. Similarly, what I will be doing is, I will be creating more books and another library. I can create 2 or maybe 20 libraries as well. So I will be creating more books and one more library for our demo. Fine. So I'll copy everything that I have done here. So instead, 3 more books I will create. Book 1, book 2, book 3 is there. Book 4, 5, 6 I will create. And then I will add these 4, 5, 6 book to another library. Fine. So I can even add the same books into the other library as well. So, but just to differentiate between these things, I would add more books and create another library. So here we go. I'll copy everything that I have done here. So this was all to search for the books available into the library and everything. Fine. So this is all my new code. So let's begin it from here. So book 1, 2, 3 is already created. So I'll create book 4, 5 and book 6. So whose ISBN, book's ISBN would be, let's say 15, 16 and 17. Okay, let's just add a new here so that we call it as a new books or something, or we can add it as a version 2 or anything that we like to have. So the book titles are changed, authors remains the same. Fine. So mainly what I want is, I just want the new details to be added. So I think I've already created an instance of book 4. So let's call it as book 5, 6 and 7. So somewhere I think I have already created a book 4. Yes, here is a new book which I was adding into the library. So book 4 is already created. So that's why I have now book 5, 6 and 7. And the books for the new library, let's call it as books library 2. And book 5, 6 and 7. ISBN of the same books 5, 6 and 7. And then what I will do is, this is books library 2. So I'll add it into this particular library, this particular collection. So here we go, and let's call this as library 2. Okay, and let's call this as what, some library, like we created a mg library. Let's call this as uh, central library. This will contain books library 2. Fine. So two library instances we have, library 1 and library 2. So both containing the books. Fine. So now what I want is, my requirement is that I want to have a map that will store the books available into the library based on the library name. So whatever books are there in a library, based on that I want to store the all the available books into the library. So I will be creating a collection like this. I want to create a map because based on the library name I am searching it. So my key is going to be string, name of the library, and the value is going to be the books, all the books that are available in the library. So since it is multiple books available in the library, I cannot just write it as book. If I write it as book, in that case it will hold only one single book. What I want is, I want this particular value to be holding multiple books. So in that case I will be creating this second concept as list of book. I can go for an array list, or any type of list of book is something which I am looking for. So let's call this as libraries is equal to new. Let's create a hash map. Okay, so we have already discussed about the concept of maps before, right? Like a hash table or a hash map or a tree map or a linked hash map. So we have already discussed those concepts before itself. Okay, so I am creating a hash map now. And I need to import the list as well, Java util list. Let's save it. So we have a library and a hash map of libraries. Fine. So now what I need to do is, I need to add the data to this particular collection that I'm looking for. So here is a collection that contains collection itself. So I have a map and I have combined that map with a list. So let's see how am I going to fill this particular map. So I already have two library instances, and I have already added these books into the library as well. So let's see how am I going to put those libraries and their corresponding books into this particular collection. It is again as easy as how we used to do it before. So libraries.put, so obviously we already know that put method is used to add the data elements into a map. So the key is the library name. So what I'm going to do is, I will just be taking the library instance, which is the library 1 that I have created before. So library 1 dot get name of that library, and I want to fill in all the books that are available into this particular library, which is actually in my case, if you look at the books that are created into this library, it is a map. But what I want is, I want to store it as a list in here, right? So now I need to get the books out of the library, which is a map, and then I have to store the books inside this, right? So a map containing all the collection, but what I want is, whatever book is added to this particular library, inside that map I want to get that and then add it in this particular library. So how am I going to get all the books there and then get those books and add it to a list? So let's see. So first of all, I'd like to have the library. This is what gives me the books, right? But it gives me a books of what? It gives me a book of map, right? So map is returned to me. I can also create a new list and then keep adding these books into it and then pass in as an argument it to this. But what I want is, I want it from the library. That's why I'm doing this. Fine. So library dot get books, this is going to return me a map of a key value pair, which is again a string, and then the value is of type book. Okay, so library one books, let's call it as library one books. Okay, similarly, yeah, first let's get it from one library. Library books is equal to library dot get books. So this will actually give us a map, right? So now we have already discussed about iterating over a map, right? So let's iterate over this particular map and get the values, not the keys. So let's go for an for loop. We have discussed this, right? So iterating over a map. So let's now again divide it into two arguments. So the second argument, obviously we know that it is going to be an array on which we are working, which is going to be a library books. This is the second argument on which I am working, right? So let's do a dot entry set. So this entry set actually returns us a map dot entry, right? So let's get a map dot entry. The key is of type string and the value is of type book, right? So that, which is what I'm getting here, and let's call this as books in library 1. Now if I get the value, I can literally get the book itself, not the details. So I will be creating a list of book. Now why am I creating this list of book is to get all the books and add it to a list. Okay, so books list in library 1 is equal to new, I'll take a array list for this. Fine, I'm least bothered about what, about the ordering and everything. So I'm taking a list, array list. Sorry, I'm least bothered about the synchronization and everything. So I'm taking an array list. Now let's go ahead and simply say books in library 1, books list in library 1 dot add. So I'm going to add the value available into books in library 1. So books in library 1 dot get value. So each time I am going to retrieve a book and then add it to this particular list. So this is how I'm gonna get all the books available into this particular library and store it into a list. So while I have the books available into the list, let's go ahead and just add that list here. So books list in library 1, done. So that will be added. Similarly, what I can do is I can create one more and add it to the second library. So let's go ahead and once again get this map and the other details. Fine. So map string library books, get books is what I got. Libraries, yeah, libraries is this. So let's copy this once again for the second library. There we go. Library, let's call this as library 2 books, and this is our library 2, right? Library 2 dot get books. Let's call this as books in library 2 array list. Once again, books in library 2, let's call this as library 2 books. Yeah, that's the instance entry set, and let's add this into the second array list, books in library 2 dot get value. All that is fine, and then libraries dot put library 2 dot get name, books in library 2. So this particular collection libraries will contain the details of both the libraries and return me the list of books available into the library. Since I have added this, let's check whether it is available or not. So I started it from here, adding the books into the second library, and then I created a central library, and after that I created a collection of libraries, which contains the library name and list of books available into the library. So because my library contained the map of books, I took the map and then literally retrieved all the books into a array list and adding that array list to the map so that I can easily get the books available into the library in a array list. Alright, so let's go ahead and check whether the books will be available or not. So we already know that we have a method called as get available into a map, right? So let's try and do a libraries.get. So if we pass in the key, we get the value, right? So let's see what all books are available into library 2. So it takes a string key, right? So let's just do a library. Let's see what all books are available into library 1. So library.get name. This should actually return me a list of books, right? So list of books searched is equal to, right? So list of book searched, and now I will iterate over this retrieved result and I should find out all the books available into the library. So what we will do, again we'll go for a for loop, and the books searched is the collection on which we are working, so it returns us an instance of book searched, because I have already written a book searched above. So let's call this as book S or searched library 1. System.out.println, all the books available into library 1 will be printed now. Book searched library 1. So let's save it, and let's also write a system.out.println above so that we can differentiate between the results that we have before and the results that we have now. Books in library 1. Save and then run it. So books added and everything. Books in library 1. So these are the books that I added into the library 1. 3 books I added by creating the instances, and the book 4 I added in here. If you remember, book 4 was added later in my previous example. So you can see that 3 books I have added here, book 1, book 2, book 3, which I created directly like this. Fine. Then I added a book by using a add book feature, right? So if you remember that, search book, and yeah, book 4, this is the book which I added by using a add book functionality from the library. So those 4 books are available into the library 12, 13, 14 and 16. Now if I search for the books available into library 2, I will get the books available into library 2 as well. So let's search the books available into library 2 as well. What you can also do is you can enhance this functionality and ask the user to enter the name of the library, and based on the entered name you can search for the books. So get library library2.get name, and book searched will be, yeah, this is a local variable, so it can be it can have the same name, no problem for this. So let's save it, run, and check. Sorry, so this is yeah, that's correct. Let's save it, and let's see, yeah, one extra copy paste. Let's run this, and let's see whether the books added into library 2 will be displayed or not. So these are the books added into library 2, 12, 13, 14 and 16. Let's check, did I add 12 into it or not. So book 5, 6 and 7 is something which I added, right? So book 5, 6 and 7, 5, 6, 7 added to this library. Books library 2 looks good. So I think I've added only 3 books, right? So why is it showing me 4 books? Let's check that. Books in library 2, 12, 13, 14 and 16. So this is 12, 13, 14 and 16. So it is giving me the books available into library 1 itself. It is not giving me the new books. So let's see whether I added the correct books or not. So this is my books in library 1. This is for library 1. I created it for library 2, right? So central library, this is the map. Then library 1 books the get books, I added this get books, all the retrieve books into library 2. So library 2, did I add the books 2? Yeah, books 2 is added, 5, 6 and 7 is added. Book 5, 6 and 7 looks good. So added that, and then out of list we were retrieving the books and we were adding it to the library, right? So library books 2, this list contain the new array list of book map.entry, and I'm adding it to books list in library 2. Add library 2 dot get name, looks good. Let's see, where did I miss out? System.out.println library dot get name, library 2 dot get name. So books search 2, sorry, so this searching is in book search 2. So although the local variable was fine, but I am creating a book search 2 here. So this should not be on book search, it should be on book search 2. This local variable can be fine, right? So, but this one should be changed. That's how we are retrieving, right? So let's save it and run and get the books added into the second library. So this is how I can create collections of collections. Fine. So hope the concepts that I have used here is completely clear to you. What I simply did was I created a map containing the string and the array list into it. So you can see I have created a second library first. This is the first thing that I did in this particular example. Created 3 more books, and then what I did was I created a map, called it as books library 2 is equal to new hash map, and I added all the books available that I created here into the map, and then I added that map into the central library. So because we know that while creating the library we created it as a map, so this map is added there. So second library is ready. So when I created the second library, after that what I did was I created a collection that contains a string and the list of books. So this collection should hold me all the books available into the library based on the library name. Then what I did was I got all the books from the first library, added it to an array list. Fine. So I created a new array list, added all the books retrieved from that particular library, added it to the list, and then that array list I'm adding it to the my library, this particular collection that I created. Similarly, what I did was I did it for the second book as well, and that also I added into a array list. So I have 2 array lists containing the books available into each of the library. So that array list itself is what I am adding it to the collection that I have created, right? So this is the array list, I am adding it to the collection libraries that I have created, and after that I am simply doing a search. So here I am directly giving this library names and everything. What you can do is you can perform a get and ask the user to enter the library name. User enters the library name, and based on that you can get it. You can use a scanner.get and then you can retrieve the details. A best practice for this would be while taking the library name itself, you convert that library name while adding the library name to this collection. This one, while doing a get name, what you do is you convert it into an uppercase and add it there, and while you are accepting the name from the user, you also convert that into uppercase so that it matches properly. User should not be bothered about entering the library name according to the cases available into your collection. So hopefully this is completely clear to you, and you have got to know the real-time use of collection of collections. So it can be a map containing a list, or it can be a list containing a map, it can be a set containing a map, or map containing a set, or a map containing a queue, or anything as per your requirement. So let's go to the repository, create a new repository. So this is our session 30, I believe. Yeah, this is session 30. So let's create a repository for session 30. Let's call it as day 30 demo 1 maps and list combined. So for this I'm giving you the library class itself. just the library service I'm giving you. There we go. I could have created one more class called as libraries and did all these things, but just to keep things very simple, I've done it all inside the main method. It would be best practice if I would have created one more class and called it as the libraries, and then create a map of list inside that and could have added the books into the libraries. Even that can be done. That would be your assignment. You separate this particular code, this entire stuff that I have added here, and you can create a new class and call it as libraries, and then containing the details about each library and the books available into the library, and then you can easily search it and come down to the library service and search all the details. Fine. You can have an add method, and then that takes the books and add it. So all those can be separated as well. Fine. So hopefully this is you have got to know how can we create a collection containing a collection in it. Fine. So this is the real-time use. Next session we will be talking about the Java 8 features like lambda expressions and the method. We will be talking about alternatives for the lambda expressions, method referencing, how lambda expressions work, how method referencing works, and all that in my next session, the Java 8 features. Hopefully you're enjoying the series. If you like the series, please comment, share, and subscribe to the channel so that I can create more videos for you. Thank you. See you in the next video.